Once upon a time, in a small village called Ugba, there lived a young mad woman. Everyone in the village referred to her as Sissy Werey, which meant crazy lady in their local language. Nobody knew where Sissy Werey had originally come from or what had caused her to become mentally ill. She wandered around the village street, mumbling and talking to herself, her hair unkempt and her clothes tattered. The villagers assumed she must have been abandoned by her family due to her madness. When Sissy Werey first arrived in Ugba many years ago, the people were not nice to her at all. They did not welcome the strange mad woman into their community. In fact, the opposite occurred. The villagers actively tried to drive Sissy Werey away whenever she came around. The children would throw rocks and shout insults at the mumbling woman. The adults chased her off furiously with sticks and brooms, not wanting the village to become a refuge for every mad person wandering the land. Ugba was a peaceful place and they aimed to keep it that way. But no matter how many times the people made Sissy Werey leave, she kept stumbling coming back. It was as if the mad woman had nowhere else to go, and Ugba was the only place she considered home, even if the residents did not accept her presence. This pattern of the villagers chasing off Sissy Werey only for her to return again went on for a very long time. Eventually, after years of this cycle repeating endlessly, the people simply got tired of forcing her away constantly. This mad woman causes no real harm. She's just a poor sick person looking for somewhere to belong, the village elders declared, and so they allow Sissy Werey to stay in Ugba if she wishes. Over time, the people's attitude towards the mad woman began to shift. At first, they had feared and mistrusted Sissy Werey, but as the years went by without any incident, they started feeling pity for her instead of fearing her. The villagers grew quite fond of having Sissy Werey around. She became a familiar, permanent feature, moving about the village every day. Some even believed that her presence brought good luck. Out of this affection and acceptance grew a sense of responsibility to care for the unfortunate mad woman. Whenever they could, families would share portions of their food with Sissy Werey, giving her scraps of leftover or fresh fruit from their garden. There was one person in Ugba, however, who showed an extraordinary level of kindness and compassion towards Sissy Werey: Prince Ademide. Prince Ademide was the eldest son of King Adeleke, the beloved ruler of Ugba and its surrounding land. The young prince had a gentle, caring spirit and treated all creatures with respect, from the lowest animals to his fellow human beings. And so it was only natural that Ademide felt pity for poor Sissy Werey and wanted to do his part in looking after her basic needs. Whenever Prince Ademide went for his evening walks around the village, he made sure that his maids packed large baskets of fresh fruit. Sure enough, during his daily strolls, if the prince spotted Sissy Werey wandering nearby, he would stop and offer her a large portion of his fruit basket. Then Ademide would sit down and spend some time. The villagers couldn't help but smile whenever they witnessed Prince Ademide's simple yet profound act of kindness towards Sissy Werey. They felt a sense of pride, thinking, if our prince can show such caring compassion towards a mad woman with no status, he will surely make a great king one day when he inherits the throne. You see, Prince Ademide's father, King Adeleke, also had a second son named Prince Adebayo. However, Ademide was the older of the two royal siblings. His mother, Queen Ajoke, had been King Adeleke's first wife, but the good queen tragically died while giving birth to Ademide many years earlier. After losing his beloved queen, the grieving king eventually took a second wife named Rolake, who later gave birth to the younger prince Adebayo. By the long-standing tradition and laws of Ugba Kingdom, since Ademide was the first son, he was recognized as the rightful heir who would assume the throne and become king after his father's rule ended. King Adeleke loved both his sons equally and never intentionally favored one over the other. However, the ancient rules stated quite clearly the eldest son must inherit the crown. So despite his strong love for Adebayo as well, King Adeleke focused his efforts on grooming and preparing Ademide, his firstborn, to take over as the ruler of Ugba and its territories. But this did not sit well at all with the younger son's mother, Queen Rolake. She harbored bitter resentment that her own son, Adebayo, would be denied the throne simply because he had been born second instead of the first like Ademide. Queen Rolake was an envious, cunning, and extremely power-hungry woman. Over time, her envy towards Ademide turned into an all-consuming hatred. She began plotting and scheming for ways to get rid of Ademide so that her son Adebayo could take the crown as the next king instead. When Ademide was just a young boy of 7 years old, Queen Rolake tried to have him killed in a wicked plot. She was able to deceive the innocent child and convince him to go on a trip with her to the deep wide forest surrounding Ugba village. Once they had trekked far from the safety of any resident, the evil queen abandoned little Ademide in the middle of the forest. Rolake hoped that sooner or later, one of the wild animals like the lions or snakes would come across the defenseless boy and kill him. However, her plans to eliminate Ademide spectacularly failed. To Rolake's dismay, the forest animals appeared to sense the prince's pure aura and did not harm him at all. When night fell and Ademide had not returned to the palace, a search party was quickly assembled to go look for the missing prince. A kind hunter eventually discovered the boy. He scooped up Ademide and swiftly carried him back to the worried king and the rest of the village. As you can imagine, Queen Rolake was beside herself with fury that her attempt to kill Ademide and clear Adebayo's path to the throne had failed so miserably. Her hatred for her stepson only grew stronger after that day. Over the following years, she had never stopped looking for new opportunities to plot ways to get rid of Ademide once and for all. Rolake knew she would never rest until her own son was the heir apparent and no threat of being denied the crown. One calming evening, as Ademide was taking his usual stroll around the village ground, Queen Rolake happened to be out as well. She stopped for a moment, watching with content as the prince stopped to greet and spend time with Sissy Werey. A new wicked idea began taking shape. Perhaps this time Queen Rolake had found the perfect way to achieve her goal of destroying Ademide's reputation and removing him from being next in line for the throne. Without wasting a moment, the conniving queen rushed to the hut on the outskirts of the village belonging to Baba Olufemi, the local Babalawo. This elderly man practiced ancient mystical tradition and was considered the most powerful medicine man in the entire region. Rolake breathlessly explained her new malicious plan to use the village madwoman as a way to finally ruin Ademide's name. The old Babalawo nodded slowly as he considered Rolake's proposal. This could indeed work as an excellent way to orchestrate a scandal that would crush any chances of Prince Ademide one day claiming the throne as his birthright. Several months later, the villagers began noticing something very strange and unexpected about Sissy Werey's physical appearance as she wandered the street in her usual aimless routine. Her belly was visibly swelling, becoming larger and more rounded with each passing week. At first, the villagers merely cast confused glances at the madwoman's expanding waistline. But it did not take long before the elderly women of the village realized what was going on. They instantly recognized the telltale signs. Sissy Werey was pregnant. An audible gasp of shock and disbelief ripped through the village when this realization set in. How was it possible that a young, mentally disturbed woman who had been shunned by most people for years could be in such a condition? As the whispers and gossip about the madwoman's pregnancy spread like wildfire, the council of female elders in Ugba decided they could not ignore this matter any longer. They had to get to the bottom of what was going on. A situation like this could bring great dishonor and spiritual imbalance to the entire village if not properly addressed. The council women summoned Iyabisi, a highly experienced and respected medicine woman, to come and examine Sissy Werey. Despite her increasingly confused mental state, the mad lady allowed the elderly woman to gently feel her swollen belly. As Iyabisi gently felt the mad woman's swollen belly, her face grew grave. She looked up at the other women with a sober nod. There was no denying it. The mad woman was definitely carrying a child. Word spread quickly that Sissy Werey's unusual state needed to be immediately brought before King Adeleke. When the big day finally arrived, Sissy Werey seemed completely unaware of the grave circumstance as she was ushered into the palace to face the stained glasses of the king. King Adeleke stepped forward and in a loud, clear voice demanded to know the identity of whomever was responsible for getting the mad woman pregnant. The entire village fell deadly silent as all eyes turned towards Sissy Werey, anxiously awaiting her response. When she opened her mouth, what she said next shocked the entire village.